Right up north, on the Northern Territory border in Outback, Queensland, lies the tiny town of Camberwell. There's not much to Camberwell, just a pub, a police station, and a few shops for the locals. Camberwell's biggest business is a trucking company, Ballard Transport. Without its peculiarities, Ballard Transport would be like hundreds of other small operators in one-horse towns across the inland. Ballard's is special. It's a family business every step of the way. Sid Ballard has been in trucking since the days his dad had trucks in Longreach before the war. For nearly 30 years, he's travelled the dusty roads of Outback, Queensland, first in a tray truck, shipping fencing, and later moving cattle in road trains. Now, his son Eric is part of the company, and not only helps out in the yard repairing the trucks, but drives as well. But the reason that the truckies for 500 miles around talk about the Ballards is Sid's wife, Kay. She could have been an ordinary country housewife, but that's a lifestyle that would have had little appeal to her.
Sid's father, he had road trains and he operated the same. You know, he had two sons and he always operated the same, and their mother went on the road with them, but she drove a car in a caravan that she used to cook for them. And, well, it sort of started there and it's gone on. I drive, Sid drives, and now our son is old enough and he drives. And when our little girl gets old enough, if we're still in the area, well, we'll make her our pilot. So she'll be up in the air then.
Air transport is the only reliable way in to some of the more remote outback areas. The Channel Country of Western Queensland is about as far outback as you can go. The area is so isolated and sparsely populated that it doesn't warrant regular freight deliveries by road train. There's only one real town out here, probably the best known town in the Australian outback, Birdsville. With only 100 or so residents, Birdsville just manages to survive as a settlement to service the surrounding properties. On the start of the Birdsville track, the historic droving route leading into South Australia, Birdsville, as a supply station, has played a significant role in Australia's short history. Yet, ironically, she is so remote and isolated that unlike other towns of her size in more accessible areas, these days Birdsville has trouble in getting her own supplies, and perishables have to be handled by air. Aircraft have become perhaps the most important link in the transport chain through the remote inland of Australia. As the road train opened up the country by allowing large quantities of goods to be shipped in at a reasonable cost and made life in the outback towns a little more bearable, so the aircraft had an impact on outback development by providing rapid transportation. Perishable goods, medical supplies and passengers can be flown into even the most remote areas of inland Australia within 48 hours. In the horse and dray days of just 50-odd years ago, it could have taken up to 6 months. Most of these air services lose money, but the air service to the smaller outback towns today is more than just a luxury. It's a necessity. The contribution by air transport has had a significant impact on the growth of the outback's major centres during the past few decades. This growth has been reflected in the expansion of other transport services, and hence the demand for road train trailers and ancillary equipment is so great that the factories in the Northern Territory, which specialise in their production, simply can't keep up. Initially small trucking companies which were struggling to be accepted have expanded so quickly but they've generated large secondary industries within the outback just to service their needs. And there's more to come. Road train operators are concerned again at the rising costs of operation. The operators are looking at options to ensure their viability in the future, including trailers that can carry nearly double the payload within their legal 50-metre length. For the pioneers of Outback Australia who opened up the inland, efficient transportation like the road train was something they could never have foreseen. Theirs was a pace dictated by the times. A few kilometres a day was considered pretty good by horse, pushing their herds of cattle along the stock routes or carting in freight by wagon. After all, no one knew any better. The road train was designed as a stopgap measure to move goods and cattle as quickly and efficiently as possible until the railway could come through. When the road services were being pioneered, the tracks through the outback were few and far between. It's different today, with sealed and graded roads that connect just about every property to a main highway. Road trains can truck in goods and pick up cattle with ease. Even if the rail services do eventually come through, they will never replace the road train. They will only service the main towns along the route to Darwin. The vast network of road trains throughout the inland now provides an effective and efficient transport service, uninhibited by the restrictions of rails. Their drivers have become recognised as latter-day pioneers, still opening up this remote country.
We're the last pioneers, we're still modern day pioneers, but this is sort of the last part of Australia up in the top end here that's really opening up. I mean, it's all been opened up down south, and the Northern Territory's sort of the last frontier, you might call it. We're still, opening up country up here that's never been opened up before, and it just gives you that sense of a pioneering spirit still. And the wide open spaces, it's just got something about it, it's got some magic that just attracts me to it, and it attracts a lot of other people. It's not just flat country either, like it's hilly and rugged, and there's just something about that gets me. I don't know what it is.